Last episode, Everton proved they belong with the big boys after qualifying for the Champions League knockout stages, beating Real Madrid along the way. And with us being top of the table and the January transfer window about to open, is a miracle about to happen at Goodison Park this season. And as ever, if you're enjoying the series so far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and let's get into today's episode. And speaking of miracles, one of the reasons why we are performing such miracles this season is down to the performances of this man, new signing Brian Brobby. Not only did his goal help seal our victory against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, but his 12 goals in all competition so far this season has him leading the goal-scoring charts and proving yet again that he has been an inspired signing since joining in the summer. But I've got to be honest, I think also the signing of this man Moukoko has helped push him all the way. Just 21 years of age, but he's already racked up 8 goals in an Everton shirt in his first season at the club. And with Bakayoko continuing his fine form from last season, this time scoring 6 goals and 5 assists in just 15 games this season, he is well on his way to becoming one of the best players, not just in the Premier League, but in the entire of Europe. And as I look through my squad and I look through both my midfield and my attack, everyone seems to be firing on all cylinders, with the exception of one man so far this season. Now, when he joined Everton Football Club in January of last season, he was an absolute revelation. He was causing havoc down the left-hand side of my midfield, but ever since he got that 2-month injury, he hasn't been the same player since. Only scoring twice so far in 12 appearances in all competitions, and he's yet to find the net or find an assist in the Premier League so far this campaign. What on earth is happening to Jota? As you can see, in comparison to the other players who can play on the left-hand side of midfield, the likes of Dwight McNeil and Huerta, he is of a higher rating. And in terms of his instructions asking him to cut inside and to get into the box at every opportunity, everything seems to be set up for the young man to play his best football. But for whatever reason, well, I'm not quite sure, I'm unable to get the best out of him so far this season. So let me know down in the comments below what you think I can do to try and get the best performances out of this man Jota. Should I consider trying to replace him in the starting 11? Should I try and shift up some of his instructions? Or should I just leave him to his own devices and hope that he plays himself into some form? Let me know what you think down below. Speaking of playing himself into form though, he's got plenty of games and plenty of opportunities in December to do so before we head into the January transfer window. Speaking of the window though, with £23 million still left remaining, looking at the squad, I'm still hopeful that we might be able to bring just one more player in who can either give us some additional depth off the bench or potentially can come in and make an immediate impression in my starting 11. However, with me topping my Champions League group, 5 games played and 5 victories on the board and 15 points to my name, scoring 15 goals and only conceding twice, and with us also being top of the Premier League table with 25 goals and only conceding 12, being the meanest defence in the Premier League so far this campaign, I was potentially thinking that improving my defence would be the main thing I would want to concentrate on heading into the window. And especially with Jared Branthwaite only having an 82 rating, I thought he might be the perfect person that I might want to consider replacing in the starting 11. However, it seems that he is forming a formidable partnership at the back with this man Mark A since his arrival from Crystal Palace. And with Joel Hato not just showing incredible potential, but showing that he well could be a world-class superstar in the Premier League at just 19 years of age. And with Teresiano, in spite of him only being rated 79, proving a fantastic signing on the right-hand side of my defence. Right now, I'm not actually quite sure that I need to bring anyone in to try and improve my starting 11 at this moment in time. However, with the Frenchman Kazawa retiring at the end of the season and clearly on the decline, with his rating now falling to 71, it clearly seems that left back and providing some sort of reserve and backup to this man Joel Hato could well be the priority position heading into January. And with you providing me with plenty of options for me to shortlist, I think I've got a good variety of players that I may well want to choose from when the transfer window opens. Before we get into that though, as you can see, we still have plenty of games to get through at the beginning of this episode. Starting off with a 4-1 battering of Leeds United, and it's great to see 4 different goal scorers, including that man Jota, finally getting on the score sheet this season. And it's always nice to follow it up with another victory, all started by a first-minute goal by Moukoko, as that goal, as well as one from Huerta and a second from Moukoko right at the death, means that we beat Norwich in our very next game 3-1. And unbelievably so, I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but 15 games into the Premier League campaign, Everton sit atop of the Premier League table, and we have now stretched out a 6-point gap to Chelsea in second place. And I've got to be honest, ever since we switched away from this more defence-minded 4-4-1-1 formation, as well as this more completely open 4-4-2 diamond formation, into a far more attacking 4-3-3, as well as switching away from a wing play tactical vision, utilising some of the more technical players we now have in the team and moving to a more gegenpressing system. It feels like this team have just come absolutely alive in all competitions this season. For starters, not only is Brian Brobby leading the way of the goal-scoring charts in an Everton shirt, but he's also up there fighting the likes of Alexander Isak and even Erling Haaland for the top goal scorer in the entire entire of the Premier League. And with us having the likes of Dele Alli, Johan Bakayoko and Mikkel Damsgaard all within the top 11 assist makers so far this campaign, it's not hard to see why we've scored so many goals, not just in the Premier League, but in the Champions League group stage as well. But things are about to get a little bit more difficult here as we are going to be facing off at Goodison Park in front of our home fans against a Manchester United team that have got an Oyhan Sanset who seems to be scoring for fun in his last few games. It's going to be a real test of our character to see whether or not we can come through this one and continue our fine run of form in the Premier League. And if we are going to do it, we're going to have to do it with just one change to our usual starting 11, and that is Zangante coming in at the back to partner Mark A as a heavily fatigued Branthwaite drops completely out of contention, doesn't even make the bench. So here we go then, our first game of the episode, and one we will be hoping to add our third win of the episode so far. It's Mark A all the way out to Teresiano, building out from the back of my defence here, and we've opened up Manchester United at will, and Bakayoko now has it on the right hand side, and he's got acres of space here to run into. Can he try and pick a man out in the box? Doesn't get the pass right in the end. It's too easy for the Manchester United defence. Mark Gay twisting away from the challenge of Marcus Rashford there. He's done a really good job, and that is almost a defence splitting pass, but it was a brilliant interception by the left back. And now he tries to release Marcus Rashford down the left hand side. Rasmus Højlund though has to come back into Yashari again. Rashford, the danger man, of course, has it. He's going to go one-on-one with Teresiano, manages to knock it past him into the fleet-footed Alphonso Davies, but Mark Gay, yet again, in the right place at the right time, and he releases O'Reilly now, and O'Reilly, I'm just waiting for the run of Damsgaard. Can I find Damsgaard? Yes, I can. He doesn't have the option, though. Where on earth is Brian Brobby? Nowhere to be found, and in the end, he's just crowded out by the Manchester United defence, but it's end-to-end stuff here at Goodison Park inside the opening 20 minutes. Neither team able to carve open a true opportunity so far, but it looks like it's going to be Manchester United are going to look to try and put a stop to that one, as Rasmus Højlund now goes down this right-hand side, tries to cut it back in. It's blocked off by Gay. It's a United corner. Well, it's been an interesting start from both teams, clearly wanting to get on the score sheet, but neither team having the real quality to be able to do so. What on earth was Jordan Pickford doing there? He could have easily held on to that one, but instead decided to punch it, and now we are still in trouble. Yashari now trying to get away from Bakayoko. Good defending, though, from the young man, and now Onana can try and streak forward here, and he can try and find a ball into the path of Brian Brobby, who's done a wonderful job of getting past Martinez, and now he's going to go into the box. Brian Brobby, who else to score? You know exactly what's going to happen when that man is in that position. With the form he's in so far this season, he showed composure beyond his years, and yet again, he adds to his ever-growing tally of goals here in an Everton shirt. Lovely counter-attack, lovely ball into the channel, and of course when you give Brian Brobby the ball in that position, you know he will do the business. Lovely position, lovely finish into the bottom left-hand corner. I'm delighted, 1-0. Anthony for Manchester United comes in field looking for support and does find the in-form man in a Manchester shirt in Oyhan Sanset. He finds Yashari. Now he's going to try and go out to Marcus Rashford, who's trying to get away from Teresiano. As I said, I think it's going to be a real ding-dong battle down that right-hand side between the two of them, as Alphonso Davies is blocked off yet again by Mark Gay, who has had a tremendous start in the opening 35 minutes here in this game. Bakayoko into Damsgaard, tries to skip away from the challenge, does a really good job of doing so, and he releases Bakayoko, who has been played the advantage here, and Bakayoko continues into the box, tries to cut it back. I was looking for Brobby, and he was just inches away with his left foot from getting on the end of that one. Bruno Fernandes into Oyhan Sanset. If anyone's going to do anything and spark some sort of creativity into this Manchester United attack, I believe it is going to be him. But Hato yet again showing another brilliant piece of defending, and that's Damsgaard into Matt Riley, into Bakayoko. Lovely ball. Bakayoko takes it with his right, fires it straight to Onana, and it's easy in the end for the goalkeeper. Well, 45 minutes down, and it's looking pretty rosy for Everton at the moment. We've got another 45 minutes to go. Can we continue this fine form? And Gante over to the unmarked Teresiano on the right-hand side. He's got time to try and pick out a pass here, but instead he's going to float it all the way over to the left-hand side. Really nicely done and really nicely knocked down into the path of Damsgaard. And he can now try and see if he can find a ball into Jota, who just couldn't shape up to strike on his right foot. United playing it around really nicely at the back. That is brilliant, brilliant play from United to beat the Everton press here and try and go forward. But in the end, Anthony loses it, and the momentum of the United attack just dries out. Marcus Rashford into the path of Rasmus Højlund. This has been a much better start from Manchester United as Anthony goes past Hato. Really nicely done from the young man, but brilliant recovery defending from the Dutchman. Hato yet again proving why he has been such an inspirational signing since joining. And Gante all the way over to Teresiano on the right-hand side. Brilliantly taken down by the Italian. Lovely ball into the path of Bakayoko. But it's a really good challenge from United. And out of the two teams, they have been the better so far in this second half. They seem to be better both defensively and offensively. And we can't seem to find a pass to unlock that stubborn defence. But as they found a pass, yes they have. straight into the path of Højlund, and that is a wonderful strike from the edge of the box. Too much power on it from Jordan Pickford, and they level the scores here at Goodison Park. Well, it was coming, it must be said. United, as I said, have been the better team, but I wasn't expecting that. Rasmus Højlund, what an absolute delightful strike that was from the edge of the box. Too much venom on the strike, and Ten Hag is delighted. It's 1-1. Tangante. Back over to Teresiano. That is a regular ball. It's a feature of our second half play here. And yet again, another feature of our second half play is giving the ball away in really dangerous areas. And now Oyhan Sunset, the man in form at the moment for Manchester United, to drive into the box, feed it to the back post, into Anthony. Oh my word, that was an absolute shambles. What was Jordan Pickford doing? I thought he was just going to pick the ball up after Anthony essentially just passed it into him, but he just let it run through his legs. What was the Englishman doing? I cannot believe it. United have turned the game on his head inside 5 minutes. But look at this. Such a tame strike on his right. What on earth was Jordan Pickford doing? It's an absolute howler. One of the worst of the season. And has that cost us dearly at such an important moment in the game? Jordan Pickford, what were you doing? Well, I don't believe it. From such a comfortable first half, leading 1-0, to completely throwing the game away here in the second. We are now 2-1 down, and we've got 15 minutes on the clock here to try and arrest this bad form. But yet again, it's another poor pass. It's been a terrible second half here at Goodison Park. We just cannot seem to find our feet, but O'Reilly is going to be the man to try and do that. Tried to play in Brian Brobby, but he was offside. Nana. Nice little head into Dwight McNeil, who's just playing in the hole where Damsgaard was supposed to be playing, and that was almost a wonderful ball through. But yet again, it was well intercepted by the Manchester United defence, and now Rafinha on as a substitute. Look at the pace, look at the acceleration, look at the spirit, and United almost through there, my word. Mark Gay and Kazawa having to combine right at the death there to try and win the ball back. Fortunately enough for us, we do just about manage to do it as Anana can't get past Martinez. It is wave after wave of Manchester United attack here. Now it's 2-on-2. Anthony goes in central. Where on earth is my defence here to try and put challenges in? We're all over the place, and Manchester United carve through us like a knife through butter. They get their third of the second half, and Rafinha celebrates with the substitute bench and with his manager as well. Manchester United have ripped us apart. Well, it's indicative of our performance so far in this second half at 6s and 7s at the back, and we are just totally taken to pieces by a rampant Manchester United attack. This time Rafinha on as a substitute. He is our undoing. Jordan Pickford could do nothing about that one. Manchester United lead 3-1. Teresiano down the right hand side, plays it into Moukoko, who's on as a substitute. Is it too little too late though, as we're finally starting to string a couple of passes together? Moukoko shifts it onto his left, fires it straight at the head of Brian Brobby, and that pretty much sums up the game in the second half for us as the referee blows for full time. Well, my players walk off despondent. They cannot quite believe what they have witnessed in the second half. Neither can the Evertonians here at Goodison Park. Full time here it finishes Everton 1, Manchester United 3. Well, you can see the disappointment in my face as I greet the press from my post-match interview. And look, I think we have turned in some decent performances recently, but today we just need to do better, and we've just got to make sure that in future games we do the simple things right. It's a really frustrating and, what must be said, very surprising result at Goodison Park. Fortunately, we did have that 6-point buffer, but has now been cut to just 3 points as Chelsea won their game against West Ham. But whilst morale still seems to be in a really good position in the camp, I've just got to hope that that terrible result doesn't have a knock-on effect to the rest of our campaign. Fortunately enough though, we do manage to get back to winning ways in a hard-fought game in the Champions League, our last of our group stage, beating Besiktas 1-0. And with that win meaning that we secure our spot at the top position in our group, it also means that we secure what many might describe as a more favourable tie in the round of 16, as we will play Leipzig in a game that I think we are favourites for. All is not right in the Premier League though, as an away draw against West Brom is not enough, as it's another 2 points dropped. And frustratingly, it looks like Manchester United just have our number this season. A 3-0 battering at Goodison Park means that they dump us out of the Carabao Cup. It's another opportunity of silverware this season squandered, but it means it puts even more pressure on my shoulders to try and achieve the board objectives this season of qualifying for the Champions League, reaching the semi-final of the FA Cup and reaching the quarter-final of the Champions League. However, despite squad morale starting to look like it's slipping, it does still seem like it's in a good position. But one man's position in the team has been up for debate so far this season, and that is the position of this man, James Garner. He's been knocked out of the starting 11 since the arrival of Matt O'Reilly, who has formed a formidable partnership in the centre of midfield with this man, Amadou Onana. However, with James Garner having the versatility to play not just in central midfield but in defence as well, with me having a lack of centre-backs at the club in the absence of Mark Gay, Branthwaite and Sankante either picking up injury or a little bit of fatigue, the young Englishman has been able to fill in at centre-back for me when I've needed him to in the first half of the season. However, more importantly than that, you can see that his contract does seem to be expiring within the next 6 months, and that is something that I definitely do not want to let slip. So as you can see, because of that, I have invited both he and his agent to join me in my office to try and see if we can thrash out a new deal. Clearly he wants to stay at the club and fight for his position and be an important member of the team, and with him getting a very handsome salary bump, it's not hard to see why he's so keen to stay at Everton Football Club. He accepts a new 3-year contract extension and he will remain at Everton Football Club for the foreseeable future. However, with the contract talks done, it's time to get back to the football and time to return to Goodison Park for this man Beto in a Tottenham shirt. We're going to try and see if we can get back to winning ways here against Tottenham in our very next game, and right on cue, James Garner is a man who is filling in for the fatigued Branthwaite, who drops to the bench at centre-back. The only other 2 changes to my regular starting 11 is Cesar Huerta coming in at left midfield to replace Jota, who drops to the bench, and Dele Alli also comes in against his former club to try and see if he can make them wish that they never got rid of him in the first place. So here we go then, a big game and a big opportunity for us to try and get back in the win column. A much needed win that we do need today as Dele Alli flicks the ball over to Teresiano on the right hand side. Lovely done. Back into Huerta. Lovely ball into Brobby. Brobby strikes with his right. Could he have played it across to Cesar Huerta? Does he need to though, as it bundles back to him? And oh my word, the Tottenham defence is all over the shop. And the big man up front, Brian Brobby, comes in and steals a goal from absolutely nothing to give us a 1-0 lead inside the opening 10 minutes. Well, what on earth were the Spurs defence doing? Terrible goalkeeping, terrible defending, and it's just a gift for Brian Brobby. And when you give him a gift like that inside the 6-yard box, he will make no mistake. A lovely finish and a lovely way to give us a 1-0 lead. Well, it's just the start that we wanted, exactly what the doctor ordered here at Goodison Park. Brilliant way to get the fans back on their feet and get our players back on track here, but we've got to make sure that we don't do anything silly, just like that pass from Marque, and it's Beto now. Look at the pace. He didn't show any of this pace when he was in an Everton shirt. He just goes past James Garner. Pickford comes out with a huge save. Beto tries to head it down, puts it wide. Clearly, he is keen to impress against his former club. Marque, under a bit of pressure here, has managed to wriggle away from it and plays it into the path of James Garner, who floats it over to Hato on the left-hand side. Well won, though, by Pedro Porro. Spurs have seemingly just sparked themselves into action here. It seems like that goal for us early on has really lit a fire under them as they try and play the ball into the channel to Beto. For some reason, perhaps it's additional training he's doing at Spurs, he is showing some lightning pace that he really didn't show in an Everton shirt. We've got to be wary of that as we try and press our defence high here. And yet again, Marque with a poor piece of play defensively, giving the ball away in a really dangerous position. And now Heung-min Son, the captain, the leader for Spurs, to try and bring it forward. But in the end, it's good recovery defending from Bakayoko. Onana to try and play it down the line. It's blocked off by Pedro Porro, but he manages to get onto the second ball and he feeds it into Cesar Huerta. He's going to try and ghost into the box here. Shifts it onto his right, trying to find an opportunity to shape up to strike it in the end. Just took too many touches and took too long on the ball and ended up losing it. And now Spurs can try and see if they can hit us on the counter-attack. It's Heung-min Son yet again. Flicks it back into the path of Moretti. Tony Cruz, the former Real Madrid man, now plying his trade in a Tottenham shirt. Mickey van der Ven defensively finds Kirkes, a former Everton target, at left back now, but he plays the ball straight into Dele Alli. And now Brian Brobby has the opportunity to try and play in Matt O'Reilly over the top. It's not the best ball, but Matt O'Reilly almost got there ahead of Romero, but it was good defending in the end from the Argentine. Bakayoko tries to go down the line, does go down the line to Cesar Huerta. Really nice ball. End-to-end stuff here at Goodison Park. Both teams trying to see if they can get a goal that will really put them in a decent position. And now it's Kulusevski out to Moretti on the right-hand side. We are right on the stroke of half-time here, and we've got to be sensible. We cannot let Spurs score at this moment in time. It will be a real killer blow if they do, but it's played into Kulusevski, and just as I say that, the Swede volley Spurs into a 1-1 leveller here at Goodison Park. Another brilliant, incisive piece of counter-attacking play from Spurs. They are hitting us where it hurts with our high line. They've just got too much pace for my back line. A beautiful ball in from Pedro Porro. James Garner filling in at the back, got it all wrong. And Kulusevski, the Swede, with a lovely finish with his right foot. 1-1. Teresiano on the right-hand side, looking to start this second half a little bit better than we finished the first. It must be said, really poor. But just as I say that, Onana goes and gives it away to Heung-min Son. A terrible way to start, but this this time James Garner makes amends for his earlier mistake in the first half, wins the ball back in a really dangerous position, and we try and see if we can hit them on a counter. Unfortunately, it goes out for a throw-in. Van der Ven for Spurs into Kerkez. Kerkez, though, loses it to Dele Alli. Eager to put in a decent performance here, and that's a lovely ball from Bakayoko into the path of Ali. Now he cuts it back into Matt O'Reilly, into Brobby into Cesar Huerta. Lovely play, and the Mexican Cesar Huerta just gets there ahead of the goalkeeper to restore our lead here at Goodison Park. Brilliant play and a brilliant way to give us a 2-1 lead. Brilliant, incisive work. We just cut through the Spurs defence, and that is a lovely pass from Brian Brobby. Huerta read the line perfectly, just managed to stay onside, and that is a lovely dink finish over the goalkeeper into the bottom right-hand corner. Prove White was the right decision to put him back in the starting 11. 2-1. Spurs have a free kick here just inside their half. They're pushing almost all of their men inside my half here as they try and see if they can fight their way back into this game and get themselves back on level terms, just as they did at the back end of the first half, as Beto comes short now, plays a wonderful ball into the striker, but this time Jordan Pickford is out again. Beto is really causing a nuisance for my defence here today. Teresiano down the line into Bakayoko. Bakayoko round the corner into O'Reilly. It was the same ball that we played earlier. Spurs haven't learnt from their earlier lesson, and now Matt O'Reilly just ghosting into the box. Lovely play from the former Celtic man. And in the end, he did all the hard work and then ballooned his strike high and wide. Kulusevski for Spurs, deep inside his own half, wriggles away from a couple of challenges. Really nice stuff to get away from the Everton press. And Spurs yet again have opened me up at will here. And now Beto to try and go past Mark Gay, but feeds a lovely ball into Pellegrini. He's in the box. What a strike, what a save from Pickford. There can be no doubt that Pickford is desperately trying to make amends for his mistake in the last game against Manchester United. And he's done it again. A brilliant save at the back post. Lovely stuff from Pickford, and look how much it means to the rest of the Everton players. 15 minutes left remaining on the clock here for Spurs to try and find a way back into this game, and they're doing everything they can to do it. Toni Kroos wins the ball into Beto. How much he would love to score, but yet again, he's denied by the England number one. Toni Kroos this time is going to be the man to take the corner, and he does take it to Kulusevski though, but yet again, it's blocked off by Damsgaard, and this time he manages to get away from the pair of them, and he's going to try and streak down this left-hand side. The new man on the pitch with so much stamina and pace to burn here. He drives into the box. Can he try and strike? Yes, he can. That is an absolute wonder goal from the Danish superstar, Mikkel Damsgaard, and he has come alive this season. It is absolutely brilliant. He won it right at the start of our half, and he drove all the way into the Tottenham penalty area. Look how delighted I am, look how delighted the fans are. 3-1. Well, as that put the final nail in this Spurs coffin, it's exactly what we needed to give ourselves some breathing room here, as Spurs were starting to breathe down on X and starting to ramp up the pressure. But it looks like they've lost their way a little bit, and that is a huge relief for the Evertonians watching in attendance today. Kulusevski, though, has it for Spurs, shifts it onto his left, and that's a dangerous position for him to be in. But Damsgaard comes across again. He's been really influential since coming on as a sub. He's kept it in play. That is absolutely world-class football from the Dane. And it turns out, much to my relief, that will be the last action of this game. I salute the support from the Evertonians. Spurs will be left disappointed after getting themselves back on level terms, but the plaudits must go to this man. Mikkel Damsgaard came on as a sub and made an important impact here today. As it finishes here at full time, Everton 3, Spurs 1. A huge way to get ourselves back in the win column, and a huge way to continue our march towards the Premier League title. 18 games played, 41 points on the board, and as we almost reach the halfway stage, if we continue as we are going, Everton Football Club may well be crowned Premier League champions. And as we follow that up with another victory, this time courtesy of a late winner from Jota, showing great character to score in the 88th minutes. Bang on the halfway stage, we've got 44 points to our name. If we continue like we are, we'll have 88 and we will break the record for Everton points in the Premier League. However, with my chief executive instructing me that the January transfer window is now officially open, and with £22 million still left remaining in our budget, it's time for us to go back to our earlier conversation at the beginning of the episode and try and see if we can find a reserve left back to replace this man Kazawa, and someone who can come in and potentially compete with this man Uriel Hato. And with us competing on all fronts in the Premier League, I thought it was important for me to try and bring someone in who does offer us more Premier League experience to add to our defence. He's a man who's racked up several appearances for the likes of Burnley and Chelsea, but with him not being able to fully make the grade at the West London club, he was shipped off on loan to Borussia Dortmund and now seems to be plying his trade on this career mode for Real Sociedad. He's a young man who will be desperate to show that he has what it takes to prove himself at the highest level in the Premier League and has what it takes to return to English football. Yes, that is right. The left back Ian Maatsen will join the Everton revolution here on this career mode for a fee of £18 million. With him being just 23 years of age, he adds to the ever-growing youthful presence here at Everton Football Club, and with him being 80 rated, he will come in and immediately be able to compete with this Managerial Hatto, not just at left-back for Everton Football Club, but also for their respective countries as well, as they are both Netherlands internationals. The young man has pace to burn, which is exactly what I need, playing such an aggressive high line defensively. It's going to be a tough ask to displace this man Hatto, who's put in several world-class performances this season in the starting 11, but he's the perfect person to come back in, replace Kazawa on the substitutes bench, and yet again he adds to the ever-growing improvement to my squad depth. For now though, it is time for us to get back to the football and try and see if we can seek revenge against a Manchester United team who embarrassed us in the Premier League, embarrassed us in the Carabao Cup, but hopefully will not be able to embarrass us for a third time this episode. This is how my starting 11 looks ahead of the game today. As you can see, the theme of the episode, James Garner filling in at centre-back in place of Branthwaite, who drops to the bench with a little bit of fatigue. But the biggest talking point is this man, Ian Maatsen, making his debut at left-back. Hatto drops to the bench, and this is a wonderful opportunity for the young man to try and show the Evertonians what he's got. Sunset for Manchester United, out to Anthony, who tore my defence to shreds so far at the last time we played them, and he's torn Ian Maatsen to shreds straight away in the opening 5 minutes. Not the start that the Dutchman would have wanted, and in the end James Garner has to come across to spare his blushes, and now driving forward though, this is more like it as Ian Maatsen tries to play it inside but then gives the ball away. Bit of a shaky start for the Dutchman in the opening 10 minutes here. Onana tries to fire a ball, a lovely ball all the way out to an unmarked Teresiano on the right-hand side. And Teresiano now is going to try and feed it into the box, looking for the big head of Brian Brobby. Doesn't manage to reach him, but it does get nodded down. Bruno Fernandes tries to get it away, only out as far as Onana. And now he manages to head it down to Teresiano, who can't get past Luke Shaw. Rasmus Højlund for United. End-to-end stuff here in the opening 15 minutes as he bursts past James Garner like he's not even there. And now tries to burst into the penalty area and gets the shot all wrong. Did the hard work, but couldn't find the back of the net. Mark Gay round the corner into Teresiano on the right-hand side. He's going to try and switch the play over to the left into Ian Maatsen, who again loses out to Anthony. It's been a really poor start for the young man here, perhaps feeling a few nerves here at Old Trafford in such a big game in the Everton colours as Rasmus Højlund tries to get into the box. Garner comes across. It will be a Manchester United corner. Well, of the two teams so far, it is the team from Manchester that seem the more likely to score here as it's thrown into the box. Jordan Pickford makes himself big though and claims the ball well. Ian Maatsen into Mark Gay, out of defence we go, out wide to Bakayoko. We give the ball away though, really poor, and it looks like we've picked up exactly from where we left off the last time we played Manchester United. Really poor start in the opening 45 minutes, and that was a big opportunity for Manchester United that Rasmus Højlund just got all wrong. Teresiano will take the free kick, and it's one that he will take short to Mark Gay, who finds himself in a right-back position. United pressing us high here, and we can't seem to beat the press at the moment. Di Lorenzo wins the ball well from Ian Maatsen, but Onana wins it back in midfield, and now Bakayoko just manages to wriggle away from the challenge of Luke Shaw, really nicely. Gets it down the right-hand side, feeds it into the box again, looking for Brian Brobby. Doesn't manage to reach him. Will Damsgaard get on the second ball? No, he won't. Cleared away yet again from United. Di Lorenzo down the right-hand side into Anthony. Anthony's going to look for the return pass. Does manage to find the return pass, and now the Italian can burst down this right-hand side. Jota trying to get back in the absence of Ian Maatsen. Jota doesn't manage to though. Anthony has it again, wriggles past Maatsen. Into the box he goes. Can he try and shape up to strike? Gets away from one of my defenders, two of my defenders. Anthony tries to strike. Jordan Pickford just about made himself big enough, and Anthony was inches away from giving United the lead. Well, it's been a real lacklustre first half from Everton, it must be said, and I've got to be honest, we can count our lucky stars that it remains 0-0 and we have gone in with a clean sheet. We've got to get our heads up and we've got to try and see if we can put in a better performance in the second 45. Into O'Reilly. O'Reilly over to Mark Gay. He plays it into James Garner. Looking to try and build out from the back and just build a little bit more confidence here. Nice play from Ian Maatsen. A midfield splitting pass into Damsgaard. Brian Brobby round the corner looking for the ball into Bakayoko. Luke Shaw gets there just in time though, but it falls back out to the Dutchman Brian Brobby. He plays it into the Italian Teresiano. Plays it across looking for Jota. Onana gets it all wrong, but fortunately enough just managed to scramble and dive on the loose ball. Manchester United get away with one there. Good start though for Everton in the opening 10 minutes. James Garner feeds a wonderful ball out to Teresiano on the right hand side. Much better here from Everton as we try and see if we can string a few passes together to unlock this Manchester United defence. Damsgaard though is cut off by Bruno Fernandes, and now they can try and see if they can hit us on the counter-attack with the pace they've got in wide areas. Jadon Sancho though comes centrally and feeds a lovely ball into Oyhan Sanset. He's going to try and see if he can play it back out to Di Lorenzo on the right hand side. Can Maatsen try and put a challenge in? No, he can't. Sanset has it again into Vermeeren now. He's being chased down by Damsgaard. Damsgaard wins the ball back, but seemingly it was unfair and United have a free kick in a dangerous area. that it's going to be Bruno Fernandes to take, or is it going to be Sancet? He dummies. Plays it into the path of Rafinha, the man who really killed me last time I played them on as a substitute. Is hoping to do the same thing here today, but Marquet comes across, wins it back well, and clears his lines into the path of Damsgaard. Onana now surely can try and release Brian Brobby down this left-hand side. Can he try and play a ball? I was looking for the pass into Jota. It was well blocked off, though, but the Dutchman still has it. Not in the position that I want him in, though. He doesn't have any options. Instead, smashed it against Di Lorenzo, and has won a corner from nothing. It's going to be a corner here that Bakayoko is going to take. It's going to be our first corner of the game, and one that we are going to be hoping that we can make something from, but it's headed away by the Manchester United defence, only as far as Gay, who throws it back into the path of Bakayoko. Feeds in Hato on as a substitute. He finds another substitute in Mokoku, trying to make the difference. Unable to, though, as he's cut off by the Manchester United defence. They're going to try and see if they can play it out from the back here. We win it back high, though. Bakayoko feeds it into Brian Brobby. Brobby into Cesar Huerta on as a sub. Lovely play. Skips away. Puts it wide. The goalkeeper did get a touch on it, though, and it will be the second corner of the game that James Garner's going to throw in. Looking for the big head of the big man, Brian Brobby. Doesn't manage to find him. Cesar Huerta back out to James Garner. He's going to throw it in for a second time. One again. Looking for Brian Brobby. Can't find him. It's nodded down, though, into Cesar Huerta. Tries to play it around the corner. Good defending yet again from Manchester United. Into Luke Shaw. Just 5 minutes remaining on the clock here for one of these two teams to try and see if they can break the deadlock. And at the moment, with Baldanzi bursting forward for United, it looks like it's going to be them, and he manages to wriggle away from several challenges and just balloons it over the bar. Ten Hag cannot believe it. Well, that was a big opportunity for United, one that they didn't take, and one that we will be very grateful that they didn't take. And now, with just moments remaining on the clock, it is us to try and see if we can be the team to break them down. But yet again, the wrong pass in the wrong time for us. We cannot break down this United defence, and now it's Rafinha, the danger man, to burst down the right-hand side. He manages to shift back in, plays in Jadon Sancho. O'Reilly comes across with a big challenge. Cesar Huerta into the path of Brobby, but the referee's having none of it as he blows for full time. Well, yet again, for the third time this season, we cannot seem to find a way past Manchester United. We didn't lose the game this time, so I guess that's a step in the right direction, but it wasn't the result we needed or the result we wanted. Full time here at Old Trafford, it finishes Manchester United 0, Everton 0. Well, it's got to be honest, Ian Maatsen did absolutely nothing to try and cement his place in the starting 11. A woeful debut for the young Dutchman, and he's got to be hoping for a sharp improvement in his performances as the season progresses. That draw, though, is enough to keep us in top spot in the Premier League, but with Newcastle United having a game on hand on us, which if they win, they will cut the gap at the top to 2 points. Our fight for Premier League supremacy continues into next episode. And as well as that, with our FA Cup campaign finally kicking off against Leeds, and our Champions League campaign continuing into the knockout stages against RB Leipzig, you do not want to miss the very next episode of this Everton career mode. But that is it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.